Oh, my baby, welcome back. We gonna talk about this new receipt, right? This is a new civil rights receipt. And I had to bring it to y'all because essentially what's happening here is a conflict. We're having a serious conflict between the executive order that was put in place and the precedence that was already set with a previous finding that the Supreme Court came to. So we're gonna talk about it right now. So an NSA employee just sued over a day one executive order that says the federal government recognizes only two immutable sexes. So we see that right there, immutable genders. That's this article. I want to just pop us out real quick so I can show you exactly what the executive order looks like and what it says so you can see it for yourself. Because what I put up and discuss what only government accessible or public rather accessible documents. So let me pull it up real quick. Hold on. Well, watch out now. Y'all see what it says. This is the White House page and this is the exact government order. And this is the executive order 14168. 14168. And it was signed on what? January 20, 2025. So that's the top of this year. That's the very top of this year. And it tells agencies to treat sex as biological and fixed. Specifically, the language says to treat it as biological and fixed. To remove gender affirming or gender framing in federal operations. That takes us back to the AP article. One second. So back to the AP article, which is this one right here above my head. Basically, this article reports that a transgendered woman who is an NSA data scientist, where's that? Data scientist says that after the executive order was put into place, the agency rolled back policies recognizing her gender identity, including pronouns and restroom access. She's alleging discrimination and hostile workplace harm. And you know, we talked about workplace harm on this page. So that's very interesting, right? Something to consider. So we're going to go ahead and think about how does this put conflict with the executive order? Here's the clash. The Supreme Court in the Bostock versus Clayton County, which was in 2020, held that firing someone for being gay or transgender is a discrimination based on sex under what? Title VII. That would be considered discrimination under Title VII. With that being said, we now have a conflict, something that is going to require a little bit more discussion, a little bit of further investigation. Why? Why it matters, right? We got to have the conversation. Why? The executive order, what? 14168, doesn't just set policy. It doesn't just set policy. It's actually directs the Department of Justice to issue guidance aimed at what it calls misapplication of the Bostock, right? So basically, court presidents versus like executive branch interpretation. We know there's been a lot of interpretation happening with this administration. There's been a lot of things that say, oh, I don't think that's how we interpret that. So once again, we have to have a conversation of how are they going to handle it. Y'all know my favorite question. My favorite question is how y'all going to handle this because what is going on? So I'm going to show y'all one more thing before I start to put this to a close. But listen, like, questions that need answers. I just want you to quickly see that I looked up the Federal Register and this is what they also had on there, right? Government site. 1 second. Oh, y'all see that? Y'all know that here I have a tendency of trying to do Project 25 alignment, right? We did a little bit of mapping. Just like I went into my actual Excel spreadsheet, right? And I wanted to see how many times identity popped up specifically under the human service section. It popped up 10 times, which you can see right there. This is one of those highlighted sections. So I would direct you to go look at Project 25 and go look at what? I want you to go look at page 495 because you'll see that there are some connections, right, between the executive action and some of what was proposed with regards to language, right? We see what was proposed right here. We see the executive action. We see a page number. We see what actually got completed. If you won't keep that for your reference, not a problem. I'm tracking, we getting them into them receipts. Unfortunately, so many receipts, but there's certainly some patterns that have definitely been established. So I'm very curious as to how the courts are going to handle this particular situation because there is certainly a conflict And I like to see how they're going to handle it moving forward. So I'm going to be staying tuned, and I hope you stay tuned. And I see you in what? The next video. Because what? We legally everywhere. We looking into everything. And my baby, what? I'm interested. I'm interested. See you.